Hello everyone, and welcome to Programming Basics Episode 2. In this episode, we will be covering identifiers, as well as delimiters, keywords, numbers, strings, their manipulations, and operators. This episode will be longer than the first one because there's a lot more material to cover. As well as this episode is based off a book called Python in a Nutshell, which the link is in the description. That means everything in this tutorial is fact-checked and extremely in-depth. Let's get on to our first topic: identifiers, keywords, and delimiters. First, let's start with identifiers. Identifiers are at the core of Python and extremely useful. An identifier is responsible for holding and identifying a variable. Think of it kind of as a container. The identifier is the actual container, whilst the inside is composed of a variable. We'll be covering two variable types in this video, which are numbers and strings. However, next video, we will cover more. The next thing I want to talk about is keywords. Keywords are also crucial to Python. There are about 33 keywords in Python, however not all of them have that practical of a use. Keywords aren't relevant to this video, however they will come in handy in the up and coming ones. Lastly, I want to talk about delimiters. Delimiters are kind of responsible for establishing what goes inside the identifier and when it stops. You can think of delimiters as the lid to our container. There are many delimiters, however the only ones relevant to this tutorial will be the brackets, quotation marks, the colon, and parentheses. Next, we'll talk about numbers. From math class, you might have learned numbers as an arithmetical value. In Python, they're the exact same thing. Now I'm going to head into idle and show you how to use them.
Hello, welcome to idle. So I'm going to be showing you how to create an integer by using identifiers and delimiters to declare an integer. So basically what you want to do is file, open, or Control O to open your old file. And I saved it in over here in documents. Documents, where is it? Programming, here, and this one, at the cool.py. You could, just open up the location where you saved it last. But basically, so like you can see here, these parentheses and this quotation mark would be considered delimiters. This print statement would not be considered an identifier because print is a function, and functions, I don't think it's considered an identifier, at least. But basically what we would be using identifiers for is to declare something. So you could easily just type in print 9, save that, and it would obviously print 9, right? That's an integer, that's a number, you just printed a number. But we want to store the value 9. So basically what we would do is we would first establish our identifier, which we'll just call this num01, which is going to be equal to, now for integers, at least numbers, all right, you don't typically use you don't ever, in Python at least, you don't use delimiters, you just use identifiers. In strings you would use delimiters, not parentheses, but in most coding languages, keep in mind that you would use delimiters, just Python's being cool and all. But basically num1, it would equal to 9. And we have to write this print statement after we establish our variable. So just Control X so you can keep that to our clipboard and print that. Now basically the reason you have to write the print statement after you establish your thing, basically it's kind of self-explanatory. You can if it prints, so say if we were to write print num01, it wouldn't know what num01 is because num01 is being declared after the print statement. Makes sense, I hope. Anyway, if we Control S that and save that, what do we get? 9, yay. Easily. This is pretty easy stuff. But basically, it makes sense because num1 is equal to 9. We established num1, which is our identifier, equal to 9, and we printed out num1, which is 9. Manipulation of integers. So basically, let's just create another integer, which is going to be num02, and it's going to be equal to let's say 7. Now basically Python has something inbuilt called operators, which I talked about beforehand. Operators are plus, equals, minus, divided by. So let's say we wanted to subtract 7 by 9, num1 minus num02, so we do minus num02, and it's 2 because 9 minus 7 is 2. Makes perfect sense, right? You could do the same thing with division, which is slash, what else? Addition, which is a plus, multiplication, which is the asterisk symbol, which is your 8 key. You just hold shift before you press it. And also modulus, which is, I think, this thing. I'm pretty sure it like divides them and then it gives you the remainder or something. I don't know. It's not, doesn't come in that handy. But basically, you know, you just put in your operator, and number 9 times 7 is 63. So you could also save this operation into an identifier if you want to reach it quickly. Product, and we could do product equals num01 times num02, and save that, right? Just write product. So this would print out a product, and save F5, 63. Because we printed out product. I'm not sure you can do this in other languages. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can. But I'm not, you know, you'd have to fact check that. But for now, Python, you can do it. Alright? So, a reason why you would rather use these kind of like identifiers to store your values is because, like, let's say that you want to change. So, like, you know, let's say you could just do 9 times 7, right? You could just do 9 times 7. Oops, my bad. 9 times 7, right? But the reason that you wouldn't want to do this is because, like, you know, like, what if you don't want to do 9 times 7? So you could just, I mean, okay, look, a reason why you would want to do num01 times num02, right, is because what if you want to change around these digits? So instead of 9, you could do like 9, not 9. Just wrote 9 again. You could do like 2, right? Now it would be 2 times 7 instead, which is 14. So, you know, you could change it around in that way. And, you know, this is also much more quicker and efficient, and it's going to be very helpful in other things like strings and stuff, which we'll be talking about right after this. So yeah, that's how you do integers.
The next variable type I will be covering in this video are strings. Strings are also very important in Python and see usage very often. Strings are like numbers, however, instead of displaying numbers, they display words. The syntax for writing a string is straightforward, however, you need to use quotation marks around the text or else you'll get an error. You also want to think of strings as a list of letters. We will be learning about lists next episode. This is because a word without quotation marks will just be recognized as another identifier. Anyway, now I'm going to head into idle and show you how to use strings.
Alright, hello, welcome back to idle. So now instead of numbers, I'm going to be showing you how to make strings, which are just words, basically. So it's pretty simple to establish. All you have to do is just kind of first establish your identifier, which we'll just call string01. Now, like I said when I was explaining numbers, you do use delimiters for strings. Like in numbers, you don't use delimiters at all. For strings, you use the quotes. And you just type your string, so let's just say hello, right? And if we were to print, also another important thing to keep in mind, variables are case sensitive. So if you were to say let's print string capital string01, and first we'll just comment out this, which you can do like this. Alright, so if you were, you know, our variable is string01 lowercase s, if we were to print string01 capital S, we would get an error because string01 is not defined. So keep this like lowercase unless you titled the identifier capital, then keep it capital, you know, makes sense. Alright, and just print that, and it would print hello, yay. Alright, so it works. Basically, that's good, right? But next, I'm going to be showing you how to convert an integer and string into integer. So, let's say this is integer 9, but keep in mind, we're not declaring an integer, we're declaring a string. Just inside the string is 9, if that kind of makes sense. So this is string 9, not integer 9. If we were to string 01, right? Save, print that. Wait for it to load. 9. But however, keep in mind, this isn't the number 9, alright? This is the string 9. So imagine the number 9 as a letter. That's kind of what we're printing here. But if we wanted to print the number 9 as a number, then we would have to do, like, wait, for example, a reason why you might want to do this is, let's just uncomment out num01, right? Yeah, we're just gonna uncomment that out, right? And so let's say, we have number 1 right here, which is an actual number. Then we have string o1, which is not a number. All right, it's a string. And say we want to multiply that with num o1. Does work. It does work. Okay, it does work. What's it called, for like, more complex operations and stuff, it might not work. So what you would want to do is just do this. All right, like this print statement is a function, this integer statement is also a function, and the contents inside will be converted to an integer. So save F5, print that out, and let's see what we get. We would get 18, which makes sense because 7 times 9 is 18. If we were to take this out, alright, well, Python makes no sense. I don't know why we get 99. I'll look into this a bit more. Oh, no, I understand why we have 99. Because, number 1 is equal to 2, right? And, if we multiply the string by 2, then it would be a 9 and another 9, 99. Kind of makes sense, hopefully. So, which is actually the next thing I wanted to get into. You could also add stuff to your string, like, for example, string plus 2. Well, I'm an idiot. Wait. Oh, yeah, I mean, string plus, another string. We would get 9 hello. Yeah. You could also add another integer to it, but like by just doing another command that I'll show you right now. Alright, so you could also add another integer to what's it called, string o1. You just have to do it like this. So let's just do string o1 plus num o1, right? Now if you do this, it would give you an error because you cannot concatenate string to integer. So basically you can't have a string and an integer in the same sentence like this. However, if you were to do, which is str, alright, str, like I said, there is a number version of wait, hold up, just print this. Yeah, 92. So it makes sense. Alright, because like I said, there's a number version of a number and a string version of a number. This right here is a string version of a number, right? And this right here is a number version of a number. Look at this right here. It would print 92 because you're adding 9 to 2. Alright, but like we converted this into a string. Like I said before, when we converted the string into an integer, the string became an integer. This is the letter form of the integer. We converted it to the number form. We're converting, just like that, we're converting the integer into the string, right? With the string function. And so basically from this, we just print out whatever this string is plus whatever this number is, but this number is converted to a string. Hopefully that all makes sense. Last but not least, I'm going to show you how to index off a specific letter from a string. So let's just remove all that. Let's just comment this back out with 3 quotation marks, and then just take those away. And let's just make this into hello. I don't know, just something random. Alright, I'm gonna save that, and basically what we want to do now is take this hello hi and get a specific letter from it. So let's say we want the O right here. So what we'd have to do is just count up to the O. However, we'd start at 0, not 1. Keep in mind that. So this H is going to be 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 4th letter. And yeah, this is the 4th letter. Alright, O is the 4th letter. So we would do string O1, which is what we're calling a string, plus, not that. Alright, we would use another delimiter, which is going to be the brackets. And we would do 4 because it's the 4th letter. Save that, print that. We're gonna get an error because I spelled string wrong, my bad. Alright, so again, string O1, print that out, index 4. We get O, right? Makes sense because this is O. It's the 4th letter in the string. Yeah, anyway, but basically, like I said before, think of strings as a list, which we'll be covering next episode, because you can index off a specific item in a list. You can index off a specific letter in a string, item in a string, if you want to think about it that way. One last thing I did forget to mention, there are also methods to strings. So like we'll be covering methods in future episode, but it's kind of good to know that they're there. So if we want to do, say this is lowercase, so it's just gonna be hello and hi, but we want this first letter to be uppercase. So I'm just gonna show this one. So we could do string 01, which is the name of our string, and we can manipulate the string using methods. Basically, what we would use is this one that pops up right here, capitalize, and index that off. You don't need to put anything inside of that. That's just kind of the declaring method. And if you just print string 01, as you can see, it did not work. My bad. Because when we declared string 01.capitalize, it didn't really capitalize string 01. It just did in that temporary instance. It's confusing. Just remember to put the function in the print statement. So dot capitalize, right? And then you put your parentheses, right? And now this should work. Yeah, see, it did work. So basically, dot capitalize will capitalize the first letter of your string. So instead of hello hi lowercase like we printed before, it would be hello hi uppercase. Yeah, there are many more functions like this. You can look to them in the documentation of Python. However, I kind of wouldn't recommend it right now, but we'll cover methods and functions in a later episode, so I'll talk more about that then. Anyway, that's basically how you do strings, yeah, in Python. So now you know how to do integers and strings.
Alright, so now that you have a firm understanding of how to use strings and numbers with identifiers, eliminators, and operators, you also know how to index specific letters and manipulate strings. Next episode, we'll learn about lists, tuples, dictionaries, which will come in real handy. Thank you for watching.